What is going on, you guys? Today I have another episode for you where we're going to be reviewing a channel called The School of Hard Knocks, and it's basically titled Asking Yacht Owners How They Got Rich, or in other words, asking wealthy people in Miami how they got rich. Let's get into it.
Archie, guys, my guy just pulled up on a yacht right here. We're gonna go and figure out what he was able to do to afford this, see if this is his boat. Let's see what he has to say. Excuse me, sir. Question for you, man. Is this your yacht?
Yeah.
And what do you do for a living out in Miami to be able to afford a yacht, man? Seriously, what do you do for a living?
Well, I run a healthcare company.
A healthcare company?
Yeah.
And how long have you been a business owner for?
4 years.
Over the last 4 years, what's the most amount of money that you've ever made in a single year?
25 million.
30 million. And then we did around 19 million in profit. 10 million.
Now we go all over the country just asking people how they became successful for the younger generation. Is it cool if we ask you a few questions for the channel? Just
I
ask
want
them.
to interview.
Absolutely, man. Come on board.
Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Let's go.
Miami, Florida is home to nearly 40,000 millionaires. And if you've ever been to Miami, you know that there's always some multi-million-dollar yachts right out on the water. But what exactly do these people do? Well, today, we're gonna find out just that. And I'm gonna be going all over the wealthiest parts of Miami to ask multi-millionaires and yacht owners what they did to be able to afford these boats and how you can start your path to becoming financially free in 2024. So with that being said, let's get this video on the way. Guys, we just got to our first marina out here in Miami, Florida. There's a couple people out on their yachts right now. I'm gonna go up and see if we can talk to these people, get some game, what they were able to do to be able to afford these yachts out here in Miami. Excuse me, sir. Quick question for you, man. Is this your yacht?
Yeah, it is.
And what do you do for a living out in Miami to be able to afford a yacht, man?
I'm actually in e-commerce.
How long have you been a business owner for?
I've been in e-commerce for about 4 years now.
4 years.
Yeah.
And over these last 4 years, what's the most amount of money that you've ever made in a single year?
Last year we did 30 million.
$30 million.
32 million, yeah. And then we did around 19 million in profit.
How old are you now?
I'm 22.
You're 22 years old.
Yeah.
And how old were you when you became a millionaire?
Think about that. How much money he made as a 22-year-old.
Let me tell you something first, all right? Do you want me to go deep?
Yeah, go deep.
Okay, so when I was 5 years old, I witnessed my mom get, she died in front of my eyes. At 16 years old, my best friend got shot in the head. At 17 years old, I got kicked out of college. At 19 years old, I was a millionaire. So embracing the struggle, realizing that the struggle is what makes you, is what's gonna help you get to where you wanna be. And realizing that the struggle is just preparing you for the person that you need to be to steward that is gonna help you. And realizing that, God does everything for a reason. Like, you might not understand it now. Your whole situation might be completely fucked up right now. But if you just see that bigger picture and you're able to work towards it, don't just sit there and pray, but work towards it and work on those prayers, you're gonna get there. It's only a matter of time, but you have to focus
So the struggle is preparing you for the person that you need to be.
on your own race.
How can somebody go from 7 to 8 figures?
The biggest thing with going from 7 to 8 figures is trying to get out of that kind of like solopreneur mindset and thinking that you can do it all by yourself. Making $1 million, you can do it by yourself. It's not that hard. It might take you a little bit of time, but going from 7 to 8 figures, you need to start delegating and relieving your time. Because as an entrepreneur, you have to realize that your biggest asset is your time. And the most important thing for you to do is create ideas and then delegate those ideas to the workers. Because that's what the school system was built for
Yeah.
the workers. Do you know the story about free thinkers and workers and why the school system was created?
Well, I think it's kind of had to do like the Rockefellers.
Exactly. John D. Rockefeller created the Education Board in 1903, and he said that he wanted a nation of workers, not free thinkers. So who are the workers? Who are the free thinkers? The workers are the people who work for the free thinkers, people who come up with their own ideas and then delegate them for a fraction of the money. And then they go and do the work for the free thinkers and make them the big money. So once you get from that 7-figure mark and you're trying to get to 8 figures, find people who are smarter than you. I dropped out of college. I'm not the smartest in the group, but I have people who work for me who went to Yale. I have a person who worked for me who went to Stanford. My CFO went to Harvard. So it's about being able to pay people what they're valued at so that you can get what you want in return.
And what keeps people broke in today's world?
Mindset. It's 80% mindset and 20% skill set. Once you get the mindset, now it's time to apply the skill set. But you can't start thinking about making money until you are in the mind to learn how to steward that money and multiply that money. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to get more. Majority of people, if I gave you $1 million right now, you would be broke in 6 months. Not because you're stupid, it's because you don't have the mindset to steward that money and you don't know what to do with it when you get it. But if you have the skill set and you have the mindset, then you're bound to turn that into 10 million in 6 months.
That was phenomenal.
Absolutely, man.
Oh, man. All right, you guys. So the first interview of the day just went crazy.
No, that's a really good point. Like a lot of people wouldn't know what to do with that money. Like, there's a huge difference between someone who can make the money work for them, continue to build it, versus like someone who can either be born rich or make the million and then lose it, right? If you can make it, lose it, make it back again, and you can basically replicate that process, that's a huge difference. Or even better, if you could make it and keep making it grow and boost it again, right? Like obviously that's the better version rather than being the one that, loses it, goes bankrupt, whatever. Of course, you've seen a lot of, successful people do that. But I like that. And I also like that he brought up the thing about Rockefeller and the workers. Like, imagine how crazy that is, that he got together with the school board and wanted a nation of workers and not free thinkers, right? So it was like, basically he's teaching a whole nation of people to listen and follow instructions and work, for example, like a 9 to 5, etc., rather than being creative and a free thinker. Think about that and how that affects your life.
My guy made over $30 million this last year. But what did he say was the number one thing that's keeping people broke in today's world? It's their mindset. He said it was 80% mindset and 20% skill set for him, and that's how he was able to become a millionaire at 19 years old. This video just got off to a crazy start, but we got tons more to come, so let's go get this next one. Come on. All right, you guys, we're at our next marina right now, man. And as you can see, this video is super hard to make because of how private it is, man. Super high net worth individuals, man. It's not easy to get access to these people to own these boats, but ultimately all you can do is keep trying. We're gonna find a way in. There's no way that we're leaving this video without getting on one of these yachts, man. So let's see what they have to say. This guy's coming out right here. My guy's coming to the gate right now, so we're gonna try to get in here.
You ready to come in?
Yes, sir. I got a question for you.
What's that?
So I started a channel at the University of Texas at Austin. I grew it to over 3 million followers, and I go all over the country. I'm based in Austin. Just
You
ask
want
me
to interview?
just a few questions. Is that cool?
So you don't even know who I am yet, do you?
Not yet, sir. I'd love to find out there. I'm gonna find out
be the
there.
most famous guy you'll ever meet here.
I believe it. Is
Oh,
that
I know
cool?
it's true.
Could we do it over here? Is that cool? Over by the boat?
Yeah, come on.
Let's go. Awesome, man. I appreciate that. What industry did you decide to pursue a career in?
I've been in every industry and I've done everything. I ended up owning a large strip club, the largest strip club in Connecticut. I'm also a certified gemologist, precious gems. I had high-end jewelry stores. I also had a gambling ship on the west coast of Florida. I owned a major motion picture movie studio, the biggest east of the Mississippi River.
How can somebody get a yacht in today's world?
Buy one.
How old are you now?
Oh, let me see. How old am I now? The sun is going around the earth 72 times, I guess? Yeah. Everybody calls me up and says, Rick, how
72.
the fuck are you?
He does not look 72. I mean, like, I guess somebody could argue for that, but, like, he's got really healthy, high energy. He looks good for 72. Like, a lot of 72-year-olds look worse than that. Right? So, wow.
Still alive? And my answer is, I don't have a fucking clue.
Yeah. If you were to go back in time and have a conversation with your 20-year-old self, what's the best advice that you'd give to your younger self?
So I'll tell you this, Stephen Jobs said it beautifully, and I love what he said. And what he said was this: you could have a Timex watch, you could have a Rolex watch. They will both tell you the right time. And then he also said you can get somewhere in your Rolls Royce, or you can get somewhere in your little Volkswagen, which maybe costs $1,000, but they will both still get you there. And that to me is the smartest thing anybody could ever say. So it's not a question of money, it's a question of the way you are, the way you treat life, the way you treat yourself, the way you treat others. And me personally, I love everybody, and everybody knows that.
What's your best self-improvement advice to somebody out there?
The best thing I could tell anybody is, you know what? When you hit bottom, the only way to go is up. Okay, so you can hit bottom, but then from there you go up and start going to the top.
And have you ever been broke before?
Of course, who hasn't?
I love that, too, because it's like, no matter how bad it is, it can only get better, right? Rock bottom means there's only one direction to go. So it's definitely going to get better than this. And rather than thinking, he didn't really say this part, but like, rather than thinking like, why me, right? Just think about like why is this, not why is this happening to me, but why is this happening for me? What is it teaching me? And also the other point that he made about loving everybody, like, of course, you know, there's the part about like choosing your circle wisely, right? But loving everyone equally, you're treating everyone with respect. Really, it's about fostering a good community. Right, because iron sharpens iron. And if you have good people around you, that's only going to make your life easier. And it's not going to be so much about I worked 16-hour shift today, right? Like, you know, I'm working hard. I'm gonna, like, obviously, like, there's people that figure this out in a way where they don't have to work as much, and they can provide more value. So they're no longer trading time for money; they're trading value for money.
And what was that turning point like for you? Like how did you know that you wanted to become serious about really becoming successful and finding that success?
You know something, there's an old saying, I think it was done by Caesar or somebody. It says, know thyself. You got to know yourself. You got to know what's good for you, what's not good for you. Use your brain. Use the brain that God gave you.
All right, you guys, so we were waiting over on the other side of the gate. My guy Rick Sauce, he came over, let us in, and just did a great interview outside of the boat, man. Some of my favorite life advice that I've ever heard was just dropped in that interview. But he brought up how Steve Jobs said it doesn't matter if you have a Timex or Rolex on, it still tells the same time regardless. Or if you're driving in a Volkswagen or Rolls Royce, they both get you from point A to point B. Don't get caught up stressing about what other people have, what you don't have. Man, those people put in more blood, sweat, and tears than 99% of other people. So just remember that you're on your own journey, and if you want great things, it takes sacrifice, man. But we're all gonna make this happen. Let's go get this next interview.
And you can even tie that last thing that I said in with the first interview with the young guy on the yacht. You know, it's providing value for money, or in other words, value and creativity or ideas. Like, because at a certain point you can become the creator and idea guy and have people doing these things, right? So that way you're not trading time for money anymore, right? Like, you've got the idea, or you're able to invest, and that way you can make your money work for you too.
Hey guys, question for you, man. Would love to ask you guys just a couple quick questions on some advice to the younger generation. Is that cool?
Let me see your Instagram.
I got you, brother. What industry did you decide to pursue a career in?
Basically, entertainment.
What was the most amount of money that you ever made in a single year?
About 25 million.
$25 million. How long have you been a business owner for?
Business owner since the age of 18.
How old are you now?
56.
You're 56 years old. Actually. What's the secret to looking so young at 56?
I'm not going to say olive oil.
Yeah.
Just a good life and keep it simple.
Let me ask you this. If you were to go back to when you started your first business, what's the number one thing that you wish you would have known?
Go to school.
Go to school.
Education.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a better education. If I had a better education, I'd be a lot further along, a lot younger. That's the best advice I can give you.
So you say that a college degree is kind of necessary to be successful?
College degree is definitely not necessary to be successful, but it gives you the tools to make better decisions.
Right. I guess among yourself and the most highly successful people that you study and know, what is that one trait that they all have in common?
Risk. Take the risk. Can't take the risk, you're not going to get the reward. That's what it comes down to.
Take the risk or lose the chance.
Exactly.
What was the biggest risk that you took throughout your career?
Everything I've done. Make a leap. Believe in yourself. Take that chance.
Have you ever been broke before?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
100%.
And how old were you when you became a millionaire?
24.
How did you find that self-belief, though, to be able to do all these amazing things, right? Because a lot of people, they'll doubt themselves.
That is one denominator we just can't teach. You have to believe in yourself, and if you don't have that belief, because we need people that don't believe either. We need those guys who are going to turn and crank the shafts and turn those wheels.
Yeah.
So they can't all be winners.
So we had just pulled up on our next shot, and my guy Franklin was so nice to
Yeah.
interview with us. But
Yeah, I mean, so that's huge, right? Like the self-belief part. You got to believe in yourself, otherwise it's not going to happen. And you can change that too, by the way, right? Like you can shift your mind so that you are believing in yourself now. And it's kind of interesting what he was saying, because he was 24 when he had reached the point where he was like very wealthy, like a millionaire or somewhere around that. And I mean, truthfully, like I don't fully agree with his idea about like school. I mean, he did say like it's not necessary to go to school, but it could be helpful to you, especially depending on what you do, right? Like if you actually want to be a doctor or actually want to be a lawyer, cool, awesome. I mean, that's like fulfilling what you really want to do, your life path, etc. Right? Awesome. Now, if you don't want to do that and you're just doing it because someone else told you, that's completely different. Like your parents said, oh, you need to be a doctor, and you never really wanted to do that, or you went to school and you didn't know what you wanted to do, and then you wasted your time. Like technically, there's an argument for both sides, right? Because is it ever really wasted time if you actually figured it out and redirected your path eventually? Who's to say, right? Like it could have just taken you longer to hit that wealth or those same goals, and maybe you have a current mindset that you have, which you wouldn't trade for anything, right? So like sometimes those things can be valuable, but I totally get the argument against school sometimes too. Like it's more, I think, about community and experience, so that you can reach like these great ideas, building a brand or building a business and reaching those wealth goals, right? Rather than necessarily like having to go to school.
number one takeaway from that interview was that the biggest thing that enabled him to make $25 million in a single year and become a millionaire in his early 20s wasn't a particular skill that he learned. It wasn't a person that came and gave him the money, but rather it was the self-belief that he found in himself. See, the most successful people, man, they have this unwavering belief that they're going to achieve that success, and you can't teach that or give that to anybody else, man. So shout out to that man, Franco, man. Let's go get this next one. All right, you guys, my guy just pulled up on a yacht right here. We're going to go and figure out what he was able to do to afford this, see if this is his boat. Let's see what he has to say. Excuse me, sir. Question for you, man. Is this your yacht?
Yeah.
And what do you do for a living out in Miami to be able to afford a yacht, man? Seriously, what do you do for a living?
Well, I run a healthcare company.
A healthcare company.
Yeah.
How long have you been a business owner for?
4 years.
Over the last 4 years, what's the most amount of money that you've ever made in a single year?
$10 million.
$10 million. Now we go all over the country just asking people how they became successful for the younger generation. Is it cool if we ask you a few questions for the channel?
Absolutely, man. Come on board.
Let's run it.
Let's go.
Can we run it?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, let's go. So you ready to do this? Let me show you the boat around first.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right, man, let's do it. Among yourself and the most highly successful people that you study and know, what is that one trait that they all have in common?
I will tell you one thing, man. One thing these people all have in common. Sometimes, man, they're not that bright. I don't know. They're crazy and so forth, but they're all hungry as hell. It's insane. It's like they're crazy to a point. They're all super hungry. It's like, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that, and they execute. It's not no BS. Like they'll execute on their craziness. So I'd say hunger and actually executing on it. But hunger, the first thing. These guys don't stop scheming and thinking of how they're gonna get to the next level and all. It's insane.
Have you ever been broke before?
Jesus, yes. Yes. yes, like, yes. People having to donate food to my family. You know, for a couple of weeks, yeah, I know what that's like.
What was the number one book that changed your life, or number one book that changed your business that you think everybody should read? Your number one book recommendation?
Dude, I don't want to be cliche. What I'm gonna say here, people are gonna be like, but if you really, really, really go into it, like as an entrepreneur, you're gonna be really surprised, especially to certain sections of this book. And some of you already know what I'm gonna say. It's the Bible, bro. It's the Bible. The amount of entrepreneurs in that Bible is insane. Don't go read the I'm talking about just, even if you don't believe in God or whatever, just go read on the entrepreneurship lessons, man. It's insane. There's nothing to me, and I reflect on that. I always reflect on that. And then yeah, you got other books that will, I think, complement even the Bible, like Think and Grow Rich, and you know, absolutely. But I start and end always with the Bible.
How important has that faith been to the success of your business?
Oh, that's everything. That's everything. This wouldn't have happened without that. This wouldn't have happened without my faith, without the woman that I'm with, which is my wife for almost a decade. That's a whole different conversation. Those are the pillars, the spiritual pillars that have held up the person of, you know, who I am. When the going gets rough, it's like, whoa, it's rocky. Like, who's here with me, and you know, what do I hang on to? Yeah, it's my faith, it's my marriage, and then you know, I have friends that have been with me for years, you know, that I can always hang on to. So your circle of spiritual components has to be strong. Absolutely.
Last thing I want you to tell them.
Having a strong social circle, having great friends, iron sharpens iron, removing the wrong ones. And I love that he mentioned the one about faith and also a great woman around you, because a lot of guys get into this weird situation where they're like, no, I'm going to level everything else up first, and a woman will just distract me, and I can't, like, she's going to betray me, bro. And it's like very clear examples. There's a lot of clear examples of this, by the way. As much as guys like to throw their ego up about it, right? It's literally proven that guys can skyrocket their success with the right people and the right woman around them. So don't forget that. It's not like, oh, you're so cool because of this lone wolf thing, or like the hustle culture, hard work. Again, like, you get to the point where you can make your money work for you, so you're not working as hard. You have the time and financial freedom, and some of the key pillars are exactly what he was talking about, like this faith and a great community, and even a great, fulfilling romantic relationship.
I want you to look at them, and you got to tell them the importance of believing in yourself and your dreams. Like, you never gave up. You had that vision, you had that dream, and you believed in it all along. Tell them.
So listen, if you're in doubt, man, and I wish I could just reach out to you, grab you by the face right now. If you're in doubt, do not doubt, bro. Do not doubt. Okay, you can do it. You can do it. There's a God that loves you, and if you have those goals and dreams in your life, you will get it. Listen, you have to build the confidence. For you to build the confidence, you got to hit the goals. For you to hit the goals, you have to design the timeline and the process to do it. Okay, and it's daily steps, daily promises to yourself. Don't break promises to yourself, or else you're breaking promises with the world around you and with the goals that you've set up. You want to hit those goals, discipline yourself to hit those daily goals to ultimately hit your big goal. And all of a sudden, you'll walk into a room and people will be like, wow, that person's full of confidence. Wow, that person, look at their watch, look at what they got. No, because daily they hit the promises that they promised themselves, and then they hit those goals they put at the end of their timeline. Go get it.
Hey, they don't teach that shit in school, you guys. That was phenomenal.
So a couple things there, right? So this, again, to go back to the school thing one more time, right? Like, it's possible that could help you. Just, of course, you know, be mindful of your decision there. Like, is that just going to get you in a bunch of debt? Is that going to teach you a lesson? Is it going to be valuable for you or not, right? So it's just important to think some of that through, actually make the decision for yourself, and not because someone else told you that you should be a doctor or whatever, right? The other thing is, going back to the belief part, right? If you keep breaking promises to yourself or showing yourself that you can't trust yourself, right? Like, even in small things, like potentially like not going to the gym when you said you would, or not showing up for this thing for your family or friends, right? Like all these little things snowball, and it shows them and you that you can't trust yourself, which is why it's harder to believe in yourself. Awesome. And also the doubting yourself thing is huge too, right? Like I want to flip that outside of the confidence and self-belief thing, because you should have that already. It's actually in you already. And a lot of people turn into this situation where they're living life out of fear. Like, they don't feel like they're enough. So they're constantly like doing all these things to get this external validation, rather than realizing that you don't need to doubt yourself. It's not only that you're enough already, it's actually that you are already happy. Your default state is joy and effortless being, right? So meaning that you already are in high quality abundance, and you've let other people tell you that you're not. Remember that.
Dr. D made $10 million this last year, and he's one of the most successful healthcare entrepreneurs in the entire world. And he was nice enough to not only let us come on his yacht, but he just took us all around Miami, giving some insights for the younger generation out there.
Awesome, like a really great video here. And if you like the message, definitely share it with someone you think may benefit from this. Also, I recently started doing private consultations, so if you're interested, you can book one in the description below. There's a calendar link where you can book that in. Also, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. You got this, bro.